Manchester United beat Liverpool at Anfield for the first time in 10 years. Ruben Amorim finally gets back-to-back wins in the Premier League. And be honest, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the game. But be honest, who expected that when they saw the team selection come out? I rang my dad, I rang my brother-in-law, and I was like, I don't fancy us with that team. I didn't expect it. I felt that we had a few too many weaknesses and within the team and stuff. But what a performance. I thought we were professional, showed fight, we battled. Yes, we held on, and yes, Liverpool had more of the ball and had some chances and probably should have done a little bit better, but I don't care because the only thing that matters today is the scoreline. And the last time I checked, the scoreline said Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2. That means we are 2 points behind them in the league, a point behind Chelsea, and we can finally be rid of that back-to-back game duck. I felt said in yesterday's video, for those that watched that I was quietly, sort of optimistic about the game today because I just felt that at some point in time our luck's going to change. Like, we can't keep continuing doing the things that we're doing. At some point in time, something's got to give. But I thought that was a really professional, dogged performance today. I'm over the moon with everything. But give us your thoughts, give us your feelings in the comments below. Let me know how you're feeling regarding that. What a game. And let's go through it. So team selection wise, the first name I saw on the team sheet, Sen Lemons, I was like, okay, happy with that. The next name down was Diego Dallo. Okay. He's an experienced player, and that's maybe what Amorim went for in the end, wasn't it? All the experienced players, because obviously Sesko was on the bench, and so he went for his players, his more senior players, and I thought that was going to be a mistake. I didn't like the team selection, and then Maguire has had issues this season. Delit, no Lenny Yoro, who I think is one of our best defenders, Casemiro, Bruno in midfield, and then the front three, Ahmad, I thought was actually a really good call from Ruben Amorim because, it would have been maybe easier if to go with Dorgu and Dallo and go a little bit more defensive. But I actually thought that maintained a little bit of a threat, which we saw in the first half playing Ahmad. I thought Ahmad was absolutely excellent. Only substitute, I think, because of that yellow card, because I don't think Amorim after the Chelsea game where Casemiro got those 2 yellow cards and obviously got sent off, didn't want to take any chances in that particular game. So fair play for that substitution in the second half. And then the experienced front three and Mbeumo, Cunha and Mason Mount, who I thought had a quiet game, but he's busy, isn't he? Gets himself about the place and puts himself around. But I wasn't overly confident. I was confident yesterday. Today I felt a little bit nervous. But then when I saw the team, I was like, not entirely convinced by that. But you don't judge a book by its cover. Wait and see the end result. And ultimately, even though I was before the game thinking, oh, really, Maguire's going to struggle against Isak, comes up and does what Harry Maguire does, scores the winner at Anfield. Absolutely buzzing for him, for the result and the performance. But yeah, I did feel a little bit more anxious when I saw the team selection. But then what a start! What a start to the game. Going ahead, was it 62 seconds? Brian Mbeumo. Is that hopefully the moment now where he can kick on? Because I thought he had a really good game as well. In fact, to be fair, I'm not going to be overly critical on any players. I thought Dallo had a poor game first half, and then Bruno was giving the ball away a little bit in the second half where it became a little bit frantic, which was frustrating me. I was messaging my dad through the game as well. I was like, he's got to do something with Dallo. He's got to do something with Bruno. But ultimately, who cares? When you win 2-1, that's the only thing that matters tonight is the scoreline. We can gloat, we can bask in it, we can be happy for the entire week. First time in 10 years. That's insane, isn't it? That's the one of our bogey grounds. Even before that, though, I remember, I'm old enough to remember, always, struggling to get wins at Old Trafford, even under Fergie, when we were, absolutely dominating English football. So it's nothing to be sniffed at, in my opinion. I think that was a really good professional performance. One thing I did pick up on that I really, really liked was the attitude. When it went 1-1, I'm thinking in my head, here we go, it's going to be a last-minute winner by Liverpool, and all of that hard work and that effort and that, the last-ditch defending, because we did, I don't want to say park the bus. There were moments where we could have scored a second in the first half. We had a couple of opportunities, Bruno with that miss, and a couple of other moments in the first half where we maybe could have given ourselves a little bit more daylight. But I was thinking, oh God, here we go. these players, the same players that have let us down over the years, the experienced players or the senior players that were still on the pitch, heads will drop. But no, we went, straight up the other end effectively and scored the winning goals. But yeah, overall, I'm ecstatic. I thought that was a really well earned, dogged victory away at our biggest rival in Liverpool, in a ground that we don't win many games there. Just in general, the back to back, everything around it, I thought was I'm absolutely ecstatic with that victory, and we can pick apart the nitty gritty stuff during the week. But overall, Amorim got it right, made the right calls, because we won the game, and that's all that matters. When it comes to Liverpool away, just win the game by hook or by crook. If you can get a win, then that's all that matters. And I thought that was, I'm over the moon. But let me know how you feel around it in the comments below. Shout out to Sen Le Mans as well. I thought, again, another excellent performance from him. His calmness, his composure, distribution needs to improve, I think, if we're being particularly picky. But who cares? Like I said, it's not a time, I don't think, to go in too much on the players and the performances and stuff. When you get a victory, and you get the victory in the way that we did, it doesn't really matter, does it? But I thought Sen Le Mans was excellent. That save in the first half kept us in the game, and I felt when he rushed Mo Salah in the second half as well, quick to come off his line and not give him any angle to shoot, and made Salah panic. I thought he had a really, really good performance. I thought De Ligt, absolute warrior. Again, easily, in my opinion, for me personally, our player of the year so far, Matthias De Ligt. I thought he was outstanding. Maguire, good. Shaw, did okay. Didn't do any Luke Shaw moments, although he had a couple of wobbles. Casemiro was steady. Didn't really see much of Casemiro until he dives in and gets booked, and then was rightly taken off, in my opinion, from Ruben Amorim. Bruno, I thought, had a good game, or a mixed game, I would say. Really good in terms of some of his passing and his distribution. Unlucky with that chance. I think it clipped the outside of the post as well, if from what I could see on the replay. Probably should do better there. Frustrating, though, at the end in the second half, when he just kept giving the ball away. That was just, not what you need when you need a captain's performance. Get hold of that ball and just keep it, to take the pressure off when Liverpool have put all their attackers on and are throwing the kitchen sink at everything. That was annoying. And again, Amrim actually, did something about it once we conceded. And then I thought Mbeumo was excellent. Ahmad, excellent. Cunha, I thought, had a good game as well, although in and out of the game. But, it wasn't a game where we had that much of the ball and we're dominating and creating chances and stuff. It was never going to be that anyway away at Anfield. And Mason Mount was busy, uninspiring though, didn't really do too much, but he gets himself about, doesn't he? And you can see why he's in the team, for that work rate and that tenacity that he brings to the team. And then substitution-wise, I think Ugarte did okay when he came on. Mainu, limited minutes again at the end, but did okay. Sesko, I thought, was good when he came on. That's the one thing I would... A little bit of criticism was we're playing a lot of long balls, and that would have been the perfect game, I felt, for Sesko in the first half. But, like I said, who gives a shit when you win 2-1 and you break all the ducks? Like I said, the back-to-back games now, and hopefully we can continue. Hopefully this is the moment, because we've had false dawns from this team before, when we win a game and then the next game we don't perform, and we are a bit of a roller coaster team where we can perform one week and then the next week not so well. But that's two good back-to-back performances, I think. Yes, Sunderland at home, I thought was a really professional performance, got the 2 goals, and then just let the game play out. Didn't do anything stupid. And against Liverpool, got the early goal, didn't do anything stupid, didn't try to overexert ourselves to get for that second goal, remained professional. And then when it went 1-1, didn't panic, went up the other end and got the winner. Like, it started to look a little bit more like a actual professional football team, which is encouraging. But we need to see that consistency now. Can this be the moment where we can go on a bit of a mad run? Because, we need to. At some point in time, our luck's got to turn, and hopefully this will be the start of that as well. But what I'm absolutely buzzing. What a weekend, or what a day for me personally. My stepdaughter told us today that she's pregnant, and then Man United win at Liverpool for the first time in 10 years. So I'm going to go and enjoy a couple of drinky poos, methinks. So I'll probably be back tomorrow with a bit of a sore head. But give us your thoughts and feelings on the game in the comments. Don't forget, smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Come on, United!